The crack of a hand across a face. Then another. I woke up inside a novel. And my timing sucked. The echo of my fiancé slapping me was still ringing in my ears. My cheek was on fire, and I could taste blood in my mouth. My head swam. In my entire life, I'd never met anyone so arrogant. And today, I'd met two of them. Ethan, sorry about this, but your fiancé and I are going to have our wedding night tonight. Could you maybe get a hotel room? Don't worry, my wife will cover the bill. The nerve. Who the hell talks like that? For a second, the sheer audacity of it almost short-circuited my brain. Without a second thought, I swung. Two quick, hard slaps, followed by a solid kick to the gut. The guy who'd been whispering that trash in my ear went flying, landing in a heap 10 feet away like a sack of garbage. He hit the floor, clutched his stomach, and coughed up a mouthful of blood before letting out a pathetic scream. Ethan, are you insane? How could you? A shrill voice made me turn. Victoria Belmont. A minute ago, she was my fiancée, now my ex. The two slaps I'd taken were courtesy of her. Today was supposed to be the day we got our marriage license at City Hall. But just as the original schmuck I was inhabiting handed his ID to the clerk, someone else had swooped in. They filled out the form, took the photos, did the facial recognition scan, and signed on the dotted line, all in one smooth motion. While the original Ethan was still processing what happened, Victoria and her assistant, Cole Anderson, were already holding a freshly minted marriage certificate. When the poor guy tried to confront them, he got an earful of abuse and 2 slaps for his trouble. Then Cole laid on the humiliation. The stress was too much. He'd had a rage-induced aneurysm or something, and poof. I was here. It was the kind of cheap, over-the-top drama you'd find in a cheesy romance novel. A total Wattpad cliché. And here we go. Seeing me actually fight back and hit Cole sent Victoria into a frenzy. Screaming curses, she lunged at me, hand raised for another slap. What a piece of work. I took a step back, creating distance, then swung my leg up high. My foot came down like an axe from above. Victoria didn't even see it coming. All she saw was a dark blur rocketing toward her face. Thwack! The next thing she knew, a wave of agony exploded across her face. Her vision swam, and 2 warm streams of blood gushed from her nose. She collapsed to the floor, staring at me in utter disbelief. You. A woman with a name like Victoria Beaumont is never ugly. They're either stunningly beautiful or drop-dead gorgeous. But right now, I instinctively rub my nose. Even the most beautiful woman in the world looks pretty damn hideous with a black shoe print stamped across her face, blood streaming from her nose, and her hair a wild mess. Truly ugly. Sorry about that, I said. Purely a reflex. Her rage subsided slightly, replaced by confusion. She looked at me as if she couldn't believe the man who had supposedly loved her more than life itself would ever lay a hand on her. Then I added, "You're filthy? I was going to slap you back, but I didn't want to get my hands dirty." You. She choked, spitting out a spray of blood. "Ethan, why did you hit Cole?" she demanded. "Didn't I explain it to you? It's a fake marriage. As soon as I secure the investment from the Anderson family and help him get named as the heir, we'll get a divorce. Then, see, there it is again. That classic trope. The female lead who screws over the protagonist, all while claiming it's for his own good. The guy waits and waits, then finally gets a clue and leaves, at which point she begins the whole desperate, groveling X routine. Except in this book, I wasn't the main character. Cole was. And me, I was just the disposable side character. The simp. The ultimate doormat. Thankfully, the author had a sliver of decency. She hadn't made her hero actually sleep with a villainess, Victoria. Otherwise, God knows how many times I would have been cheated on by now. In the original story, Victoria's ending was even more pathetic. The author wrote her as the supposedly brilliant, domineering CEO who did nothing but throw money, companies, and her own dignity at the male lead. The plot was insane. She was supposed to have a genius-level IQ, but the author turned her into a brainless idiot blinded by love. "Get on your knees and apologize to Cole. Now," she commanded. "Then, you'll transfer your shares in Beaumont Industries to him. If you don't, I will never, ever forgive you. I'll make you my pathetic little dog for the rest of your life." My face went cold. She could hit me, she could scream at me. I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. But demanding my money? That crossed the line. Nobody takes a single dime from me for free. Click, clack. The sound of my dress shoes on the marble floor echoed in the sudden silence. The air grew thick, heavy with my stare, a look of pure, cold hatred. Victoria finally felt it. Fear. She finally realized I had changed. The devoted simp who used to follow her around like a lost puppy had suddenly turned into a monster who looked like he wanted to kill her. Ethan, didn't you promise to love me forever? Her voice trembled. You promised my father, Walter Beaumont, the man who had, in a way, been my savior. He'd paid for my education, given me a job at Beaumont Industries, and planned to have me marry his daughter. Or rather, he planned for me to marry into the family, to help Victoria maintain control of the company. But ever since he'd slipped into a coma after an accident, everything had gone to hell. I stopped my advance, my right foot hovering in the air, poised to stomp on her face. Suddenly, I just felt tired. In my mind, Victoria and the entire Beaumont family were like a carnivorous swamp, using the pretense of love to trap me, to own my life and work me like a horse. Her marrying Cole maybe was the best thing that could have happened. 3% of Beaumont Industries, I said flatly. $300 million. You have 3 days. Otherwise, I'll sell my shares to the person you hate most in this world. The shares were a gift from Walter when we got engaged, but the agreement had a few strings attached. I could only sell them to another member of the Beaumont family. I turned to leave, but Cole, who had staggered back to his feet, blocked my way. You think you can just assault someone and walk away, Ethan? I've already called the cops. Since you don't want a hotel room tonight, maybe you'd prefer a jail cell. He leaned in close, that mocking smirk back on his face. Guys like you were born to be crushed under my heel. Tonight, when I'm with Victoria, I'll be sure to send you a video. A fresh wave of rage washed over me, but then I saw the smug, calculating look in his eyes, and I understood. He was trying to provoke me. Why? It was obvious. He was playing the part of the noble victim in front of Victoria, using my attack to win her sympathy. And women, the moment they start feeling sorry for a guy is the moment they start making stupid decisions. Just look at him. He took 2 slaps and a kick and was about to get a $300 million payout in company shares for Victoria. Realizing this, I didn't hesitate. I slapped him again. Twice. Ethan. Victoria shrieked, clutching her still bleeding nose, a mess of fury and desperation. You get on your knees and apologize right now, or I swear I'll have you thrown in jail. Even now, she was telling me to kneel. I sighed. A psycho and a drama queen. They really were a perfect match. I was done talking. I pulled out my phone and dialed a number. Hey, Captain Morris? Is this the SFPD White Collar Crime Unit? This is Ethan Vance, Vice President at Beaumont Industries. I'm calling to officially report Cole Anderson, assistant to the CEO. He's taken over $10 million in kickbacks and embezzled another $20 million from corporate accounts. He also leaked confidential company secrets that resulted in losses of over $200 million. I'm sending you the evidence now. Please confirm receipt. I hung up and looked at the two of them, now frozen like statues. I gave them a scornful smile. So, Cole, what's it going to be? Your wedding night? Or a trip downtown to turn yourself in? Better decide quickly. You wouldn't want the cops to crash your honeymoon, would you? Victoria. Cole stammered, his face pale with terror. He's lying. I never did any of those things. Even someone as formidable as Victoria was reeling. She knew me. If I said I had evidence and had already sent it to the police, it was 100% real. The damage was done. All she could do now was try to mitigate it. She glanced at Cole, then back at me. After a moment of internal conflict, she defaulted to her usual habit, ordering me around. Ethan, you'll go turn yourself in for Cole. Say. For some reason, she couldn't finish the sentence, clamping her jaw shut as if the words were physically stuck. It wasn't until she saw me pull out my phone again that she panicked. What are you doing now? She cried. I smiled faintly. You think Cole is the only one I have dirt on? Victoria, neither you nor Beaumont Industries is getting out of this clean. In Victoria's mind, there was a clear hierarchy. Me, Cole, and her family's company. Hesitating for even a second would be a profound disrespect to her multi-billion-dollar inheritance. Victoria could live without loving anyone, including her comatose father. But she couldn't live without Beaumont Industries. She knew it was the source of her power, her entire identity. So, she chose to sacrifice Cole. For now, after the police had taken him away, she deflated, turning her frustration on me. Ethan, can't you stop being so jealous? I know you love me, crazily, obsessively. I know you're furious that I married another man and think I'm humiliating you. But you're wrong. Everything I did was for the company, for our future. In families like ours, a piece of paper doesn't mean anything. What matters is where my heart is, who I truly love. She took a breath. Your little tantrum has completely ruined my plans and cost me dearly. It's no longer appropriate for you to remain with the company. You should resign. I had to laugh. Victoria wasn't just arrogant. She was dangerously self-absorbed. I took another good look at her. That face still smeared with the imprint of my shoe, which is plain ugly. Only one way to describe her. All beauty, no brains. Fine, I said. I'll resign today. Get the money for my shares ready as soon as possible. And from now on, Victoria didn't hear me. She glanced at her watch and cut me off. Just keep the shares. I have important matters to attend to. You go home first. She paused at the door. And from now on, just be a good little house husband. Try not to make a scene in public. And just like that, she was gone. I instinctively ran a hand through my hair. What the hell just happened? Did she just tell me to quit my job and wait for her at home like some kept man? For the first time, I felt a strange kinship with all those pathetic, downtrodden husbands from those trashy web novels who finally just pack a bag and disappear. Some women's brains are just wired differently. Whatever, I muttered to myself. I'm just a disposable side character anyway. If I can't beat them, I can at least run from them. My plan was to get out of San Francisco, effective immediately. I let my lawyer handle shares. But first, I had to go home and get the stock agreement and a few other important documents. At the hospital, Chloe, look at this stupid plan of yours. It's all ruined. Victoria Reith. Ethan is done with me for good. If I know him, he's on his way home right now to pack his bags and leave my family forever. Chloe Anderson looked at her best friend's swollen, bruised face, the shoe print still faintly visible, and couldn't help but laugh again. Well, with Ethan gone, it just clears the way for my dear cousin, doesn't it? You two are already married, after all. Chloe, Victoria Seteth. This is not the time for jokes. Chloe's smile vanished, replaced by a sigh. What do you want me to do? He's weird. It's like he has this power. I just couldn't bring myself to refuse his demands. And you were the same. You know you love Ethan more than anyone, yet you married Cole. I don't know what to do. Victoria Lementif. Is there any way to break his control over us? You have no idea. At City Hall, I didn't just slap Ethan. I said the most horrible things to him. It was like I couldn't stop myself. I wanted to tell him that whenever I'm with Cole, it's like I'm under a spell, that I just do whatever he wants unconditionally. Do you think Ethan would believe me? Forget him believing you, Chloe said, shaking her head. If it wasn't happening to me too, I wouldn't believe it. I'm the rightful heir of the Anderson family, yet here I am, helping my illegitimate cousin steal my own brother's inheritance. Who would believe that? They were the reigning queens of San Francisco's high society, ruthless and brilliant in the boardroom. But the moment Cole Anderson was around, they both turned into irrational idiots, making one disastrous decision after another. It was as if he had some magical power that controlled them, and the feeling was bizarre, terrifying, and utterly disorienting. They had no idea what to do. You know, Victoria, Chloe said softly, there might be a way. You got him sent to jail once. You could do it again. If he's locked up, he can't influence us. Victoria's eyes lit up for a second, then dimmed. Ethan's the one who sent him to jail. And I asked Ethan to take the fall for him. Oh God, he must hate me. He must absolutely hate me. But I couldn't control myself. The things I did, the things I said, they were so awful. Why couldn't I explain any of it to him? Chloe didn't have an answer. She was in the same boat. It felt like some invisible force was turning them into Cole's puppets, while simultaneously preventing them from telling anyone. Wait, Chloe said, a thought striking her. This time, you didn't go all out to protect Cole. It wasn't just because Ethan threatened you with the company. It was because of Ethan himself. You were terrified he would leave you, and that fear was strong enough to temporarily break Cole's hold on you. It must be the power of love. Victoria thought back. In that moment, after her series of awful actions had pushed Ethan to the point of wanting to kick her head in, she had been truly, deeply afraid of him walking out of her life forever. In that instant, her mind was filled with nothing but Ethan. There was no room for Cole. But love. Did she love Ethan? She was lost. Her father once told her she didn't understand love, that she was incapable of it. But she remembered being so excited the night they got engaged that she couldn't sleep at all. "You're right," Victoria said, her voice firming. "Maybe the key to breaking free from Cole is Ethan. I have to go home. Now, I know he's going to run." Chloe pulled a small pill from her purse. "Victoria, you know what they say? No guts, no glory. It's time to make a binding contract." Victoria touched her bruised face. The kick had nearly disfigured her. She wondered if a man could even get turned on looking at this. "Where did you get that?" Chloe closed her eyes. "Do you want it or not?" "Huh. Run." By the time Victoria got home, I was already cornered in the master bedroom by two of her female bodyguards. All those web novel scenes where the downtrodden husband just quietly disappears. Total fiction. My phone, my car, even my damn watch had been bugged with tracking devices by her security team. It was as much for surveillance as it was for protection. There was no escape, so I changed my strategy. Like they say, the best defense is a good offense. I pulled Victoria into her own bedroom. It was the first time I'd ever set foot in her private space since moving into the Beaumont estate. "Run," I scoffed. "I do things out in the open. If I leave, I'll walk right out the front door. We've been together for 3 years. I think it's time I collected some interest." Before she could react, I pushed her onto the bed. But that gorgeous face, marred by the shoe print, was seriously killing the mood. I sighed in frustration and switched off the lights. "One night with me," I whispered in the dark, "and we'll call it even. All debts paid. What do you say?" In the blackness, Victoria secretly dropped the pill she'd been holding. She couldn't believe we'd had the exact same idea. "I agree, Ethan," she murmured. "And whether you believe it or not, my heart has only ever been with you. As for Cole, I have my reasons. Reasons I can't explain." I wasn't interested in her excuses. Primal instinct had taken over, and there was only one thing on my mind. The night was long, and yet it was short. I lost count of how many times the sun seemed to rise and fall. Maybe it was because I never had anything this good, or maybe for some other reason, but I had incredible stamina. I didn't let her go until I finally collapsed from exhaustion. When I woke up again, I saw Victoria sitting on the edge of the bed, staring at me with an unnerving intensity. I tried to sit up, only to discover I'd been chained to the bedpost. "What the hell is this?" Slap. Without a word, she smacked me across the face. "Ethan Vance, you made me waste 10 years of my life waiting for something this good. Don't you think you deserve that?" 10 years? 10 years ago, you were 16. I'm not a monster. But then I remembered the original schmuck was all about chaste, pure love. If they hadn't gotten married, he probably would have kept it in his pants forever. Before I could say anything, she slapped me again, this time with her other hand. "If you had just been dominant like you were last night from the beginning, I never would have had to put myself through all that. Don't you think I should hit you for that?" I was speechless again. It was the author's fault for writing the original guy as a total simp. What was I supposed to do about it? Victoria seemed to be getting into it. She hit me a third time. "I'm already pregnant with your child. You dare take responsibility." I rolled my eyes. "Don't be ridiculous. It's only been one night." She just smirked, pulling out her phone and leaning over me to snap a few pictures. Then she took a photo of the clothes scattered on the floor, and of the telltale crimson flower on the white sheets. "I just sent these to Cole from my phone," she said, her voice triumphant. "Feeling better now? I told you, you're the only man for me. When he gets out, I'll have him sign the divorce papers, and then we can." "No divorce," I interrupted, my voice serious. "I've suddenly discovered I have a preference for you as a married woman. Last night seems to have awakened. A new kink. Besides, it adds a certain thrill. Ethan, you're a pig." Victoria burst into tears, biting her lip as she ran out of the room, a storm of fury and sobs. I just watched her go, not feeling a shred of pity. Victoria had left, but she hadn't unchained me. I yelled for a while, but none of the staff came. A rookie mistake. I should have slipped out after the last go-around. I don't know how much time passed before the door finally opened again. When I saw who it was, a hot flush of shame washed over me, and I curled up like a cooked shrimp. It wasn't Victoria. It was her stepmother and my mother-in-law. Miranda Beaumont, the one person in the family who had always been the kindest to me. And here I was. That girl is so reckless, Miranda sighed, ignoring the chaotic state of the room as she gently pulled a silk comforter over me. Ethan, Victoria is married to that Anderson boy now. You need to let her go. Go find your own happiness. I can arrange for you to go abroad, somewhere she'll never find you. I was silent for a moment. Walter was like a father to me. The company is in trouble, and Victoria. She doesn't have a head for it. I can't let his life's work go down the drain. Miranda's warm smile slowly hardened. Ethan, you should understand. Victoria doesn't want you anymore. You don't know her anything. I may be your stepmother, but I watched her grow up. Do you think I don't know my own daughter? If this had been the old me, I would have believed her. I would have taken her offer and left. But I knew the whole story. Running away was the coward's way out. Walter and Victoria's kindness might have come with strings attached, but they never meant me any real harm. They gave an orphan like me a chance to climb out of the gutter. As for Victoria marrying Cole, the original guy would have been heartbroken. Me, I just found it exciting. I was probably sick in the head. Looking at Miranda now, her past kindness seemed excessive. The original Ethan just thought it was an elder caring for a junior. I saw something else. From the way she looked at me when she walked in, I knew she wasn't interested in me physically. Ruling that out, the only thing left was my 3% stake in Beaumont Industries. I couldn't think of any other reason a stepmother-in-law would be so incredibly nice to her stepdaughter's fiancé. What about my shares, Miranda? Her smile returned. I'll give you $7 million, and I'll handle all your travel documents. If you agree, I can have you on a plane tonight. I laughed internally. $7 million for shares worth hundreds of millions. She was a hell of a businesswoman. Under her expectant gaze, I rattled the chain on my wrist. Miranda, could you do me a favor and take this blanket off? I need to take a piss, and I think you could use the reflection to take a good, long look at yourself. Miranda's face contorted with rage. Her kind, dignified mask shattered. She spun on her heel and stormed out. Someone was shaking me awake. Mr. Vance, Ms. Beaumont needs you at the office. It was Victoria's assistant, Dana. She was usually quiet, a woman of few words. The original Ethan barely ever spoke to her. She produced a key and unlocked the chain. Mr. Vance, please understand. Ms. Beaumont said that if you won't be civil about this, she's authorized us to help you be civil. As she spoke, the two female bodyguards materialized behind her, each holding a small leather whip. Perhaps you'd like to give it a try, Dana said, her voice flat. Try it and die. I saw the sharp barbs on the whips, and my blood ran cold. I forced a smile, trying to save face. She want me at the office? Did she finally realize the company can't function without me? It was a cringy line. I was the simp side character, not the indispensable genius CEO from some other cheap novel. Donna's mouth twitched. Well, Ms. Beaumont does need you. You'll see when you get there. My curiosity piqued. I followed them. In the main lobby of Beaumont Industries, I saw Cole Anderson. The moment he spotted me, he charged, his face a mask of rage, his fist cocked. Ethan, you son of a bitch, how dare you sleep with my... He never finished the sentence. His fist never landed. Dana moved like lightning from behind me, stepping between us. In terms of rank, Dana was Victoria's chief of staff. In terms of their relationship, she was her college mentor, friend, and confidant. Cole didn't dare cross her. Mr. Anderson, your employment has been terminated. Please leave the premises, Dana said coolly. I watched Cole closely. I wasn't surprised he got out so fast. This was his story, after all. He was the male lead, with the female lead, and God knows who else pulling strings for him. A guy like that was never going to see the inside of a real prison. Dana, could you please call Victoria for me? I just need to say a few words to her, he pleaded. And that's when I saw it. Dana, who had been a rock a second ago, softened at the sight of his pleading eyes. Fine, but if she says no, you leave immediately. Cole clasped his hands together, smiling obsequiously like a puppy. The truly shocking part was that the moment Dana called, Victoria agreed to see him. See that, Ethan? Cole's arrogance returned instantly. All I have to do is say I'm sorry, and you'll go right back to being the one nobody wants. I nodded honestly. Before, I wouldn't have believed it. But watching Dana's attitude flip on a dime made me realize it was real. As the male lead, Cole had some kind of plot armor, a passive aura that influenced the people around him, especially women. Still, I hated that smug look on his face. In the executive elevator, I leaned against the wall and groaned. Dana, could you give me a hand? My back is killing me. Cole's face went crimson, his eyes turning green with rage. He was, on paper, Victoria's husband. This was the ultimate humiliation. He looked like he wanted to tear me to pieces. But Dana immediately stepped between us again. All he could do was glare. In the CEO's office, Cole didn't grovel or act aloof. Instead, he pulled out a business proposal. Victoria, I stayed up all night working on this. It's a marketing strategy for integrating our AI technology into the smart home sector. I'm confident I can increase product sales by more than 60% next quarter. I had to hand it to him. The author of this book was creative. The male lead wasn't just a manipulative pretty boy. He actually had skills. He was more talented than the side character I was supposed to be. Victoria had planned to cut ties for good, but the proposal Cole presented hit her right where she was weakest. She hesitated. I stepped forward. Mr. Anderson is clearly a top-tier market developer, fresh off Wall Street. Ms. Beaumont, I recommend we give him a promotion and a raise. The position of Executive VP of International Operations has been vacant for a long time. I think Mr. Anderson would be a perfect fit. Victoria's eyes lit up. It was the perfect solution. She could use Cole's talent while keeping him at arm's length on another continent. But before she could speak, Cole politely declined. Victoria, I came here today to resign. This proposal is the last thing I can do to help you. I only have one request. Can we please not get a divorce just yet? Give me 6 more months. No. Victoria blurted out, but when she saw the tears welling in Cole's eyes, her resolve crumbled. Her mind went foggy. 6 months is too long. She immediately regretted saying it. She instinctively moved closer to me, feeling herself falling under Cole's spell again. The words hadn't been her own. Just as Victoria was about to fight it, I chimed in with a smile. I have a suggestion. Why don't you two wait a few years to get a divorce? Wait until I didn't get to finish. Victoria knew exactly what I was going to say, and she wasn't about to let me humiliate her. She shot Dana a look, and Dana, reading her mind, drove a fist into my stomach. Oof. I stumbled back. Before I could retaliate, Dana ducked under my arms, hoisted me over her shoulder like a sack of potatoes, and tossed me into the private lounge attached to the office. The next thing I knew, I was chained to the bed again. Victoria came in right after her, and she was even more ruthless. She deftly peeled off one of her silk stockings and stuffed in my mouth. Peace and quiet, she sighed. Dana nodded in agreement, then gestured toward the outer office. Ms. Beaumont, I thought you were going to make him sign the divorce papers today. Victoria covered her face in frustration. The moment I look into his eyes, I just can't do it. I can't bring myself to say no to him. Dana sighed. It was the same for me just now. Logically, I should only be taking orders from you, but still, Ms. Beaumont, even though you didn't completely refuse him, you did resist. That's new. Victoria pointed at me. You're a keen observer. When Ethan is near me, I can fight Cole's influence a little. It works, but not completely. She climbed onto the bed and slapped me across the face. And it's all your fault for being so weak, she hissed. All you can think about is your stupid kink. Donna's scalp tingled. That was a bombshell. She knew they'd been together all night. But she never could have imagined Cole had become a part of their roleplay. Who was cheating on whom at this point? As if she wasn't done, Victoria slapped me again. Ethan, you bastard. If you ever mention that again, I'll keep you chained up for the rest of your life. Oh, Dana suddenly covered her eyes. Ms. Beaumont, Ms. Beaumont, you made him. Look, what are you going to do now? I had to laugh. She was doing this on purpose. I squeezed my eyes shut. Out of sight, out of mind. Victoria, however, was triumphant. She lifted her chin, pointing a thumb toward the door. Go stand guard outside. Don't let Cole in, but don't let him leave either. Then, with practiced ease, she slapped me again. This is the last time I indulge your weird fetish. After this, you're going to behave. In the end, Victoria couldn't face Cole again. Not because she was afraid of my reaction, but because she was terrified of that feeling of being controlled. After our interlude, she immediately had Dana call a lawyer. She gave him carte blanche to handle the divorce. Full power of attorney. Get it done as fast as possible. Money is no object. This move completely derailed Cole's plans. He left the office looking humiliated and furious. Not long after, Chloe arrived. "You two are ruthless," she said, shaking her head. "First, a wedding night that burns the whole house down. Then you do it again right in front of my cousin. What husband could stand that? Too bad it didn't give him a fatal heart attack." I knew Victoria's best friend, of course. In the past, she'd always looked at me with disdain, thinking I had no redeeming qualities other than being handsome and easy to manipulate. "So, Ethan," she drawled, "how does forbidden fruit taste?" I nodded honestly. Victoria, rubbing her lower back, shot me a glare. "I really don't understand why men are so obsessed with other men's wives," she complained. "He was like an animal earlier." I glanced from her to Chloe, who was built like a runway model. "Because that's where all the fun is." Victoria giggled, covering her mouth. Chloe threw her purse at me. "You pig, go to hell." After some friendly banter, the two of them started talking business. The Beaumont and Anderson families were more partners than rivals. When Chloe saw the business plan Cole had left, she was full of praise. "I have to admit, my half-brother has some skills. It's a shame his ambition is going to be his downfall." I scoffed from the sidelines. "Are you two really planning to base your next quarter strategy on that proposal? If you do, the company will be bankrupt before you know it." Victoria was stunned. "What do you mean? I didn't see anything wrong with it." Most romance authors just gloss over the business side of things. This book was no different. While I didn't know the exact plot details, fiction often mirrors reality, and I had a pretty good idea of how Beaumont Industries was supposed to go under. The proposal itself is brilliant, I admitted, but it overlooks one critical detail. The international climate is shifting. If the government suddenly restricts domestic companies from using the latest NVIDIA chips and Microsoft's new algorithmic architecture, what happens then? All that money you spend on hardware and software becomes worthless junk. Chloe didn't believe me. Victoria hesitative. They looked at each other, then asked in unison, "Do you have inside information?" I shook my head. You can't predict government policy. Except I could, but I couldn't tell them that. The government didn't pour $500 billion into domestic chip and AI development for fun. If our own companies don't buy our own tech, who will? Some third world country. All the talk of sanctions and trade bans was just noise. The government had invested, and they needed to see results. If everyone kept buying foreign tech, it would be a massive political embarrassment. Victoria was silent for a long time, but the domestic options are nowhere near as good as what's available overseas. To make our products the best on the market, we have to use the most advanced components. I could see she was determined to walk right into the trap. It wasn't her fault. It was the plot the author had laid out for her. A few words from me weren't enough to change her mind. With her father in a coma, she was desperate for a win to prove herself. It was time for some shock therapy. Stanford University AI lab parking lot. "Ethan, why did you bring us here?" I didn't answer, just motioned for them to be quiet and wait. We waited until dusk. When our targets finally appeared, I nudged Victoria and Chloe awake. "Lily? Cole? What are they doing here together?" I just smiled. A handsome man and a beautiful woman. A match made in heaven, don't you think? Chloe slammed her hand on the dashboard. "Match made in hell. That's her brother-in-law messing around with her little sister. There's nothing heavenly about that." Victoria didn't look hurt at all. For one, she had no romantic feelings for Cole. For another, while Lily was her sister, they were half-sisters, and she was the person Victoria despised most in the world. "I thought Lily was a music major," she mused. "What's she doing in an AI lab?" I cleared my throat. "Allow me to formally introduce you. Lily Beaumont, daughter of Walter Beaumont and Miranda Beaumont. A gifted musician, currently a graduate student at the Juilliard School." On paper, Chloe waved her hand impatiently. "Cut the crap. Tell us something we don't know." This one was tough. I dropped the act. "She's also a computer genius. One of the most mysterious gray hat hackers online, codename L.E. She owns 3 research labs and 2 internet companies. Oh, and she's Cole's girlfriend." I added silently, "And she's the real female lead of this book. The kind that destroys anyone who gets in her way." Seeing their shocked faces, I twisted the knife. "Lily's lab is about to perfect a new AI algorithm. It's light years ahead of anything else in the world. So, Victoria, are you still so sure you want to use Cole's business plan?" Use my ass, Chloe snarled, looking like she wanted to jump out and tear them apart. Son of a bitch. So, the quiet ones really are the most dangerous. Who would have thought the sweet, innocent musical prodigy of the Beaumont family was such a damn mastermind? She even had me fooled. By the way, Ethan, how did you find all this out? I kept my mysterious air. I couldn't let them think I was just some schmuck. I might be a nice guy, but I'm not stupid like you two. You deserve to be played. If Cole's plan had succeeded in a few months, even if the company didn't go bankrupt, you, Victoria, would have been too disgraced to continue as CEO. Then Cole, as the son-in-law, would step in to support Lily as she took over the company. And you too. You'd be kicked to the curb. Victoria buried her face in her hands, a profound sense of failure washing over her. Her lifelong feeling of superiority now seemed like a cosmic joke in the face of her little sister's achievements. Her father had planned different paths for them. She would go into business, and Lily would pursue music. But now it was clear her sister wanted much, much more. Ethan, she said, her voice muffled. I haven't lost yet, right? Will you help me? If you don't want to, I can still send you abroad. Just don't ever come back. I chose to stay, not because I was greedy for her beauty or the Beaumont fortune, and not because Victoria had suddenly grown a conscience. It was because I had woken up in this world, and I was tangled in its web of fate. Running away would be easy, but who knew what the future held? What was to stop the male lead from hunting me down later? It was better to stay and fight, to take him out for good, and, enjoy the view while I was at it. Back in Victoria's office, she had recovered her composure. Her fighting spirit was back. She wouldn't lose to her sister, and Chloe wouldn't lose to her cousin. Ethan, there's something I need to tell you, Victoria said. Cole has some kind of mysterious power. When we're near him, we can't help but want to please him. It's like our minds are completely under his control. Otherwise, I never would have treated you like that at City Hall. I believed her. It was the male lead's halo effect, an irresistible charm. Luckily, it didn't work on men. I actually felt sorry for them. Two brilliant, powerful women, reduced to lovesick idiots by a bad author. It was pathetic and cheap. Victoria, let's get one thing straight, I said. You and I are never getting married. This arrangement we have now is perfect. I like your body, and you're obsessed with mine. Didn't you say a piece of paper means nothing in your world? Perfect. When we get tired of each other, I'll walk away. Clean, simple, and a hell of a lot more exciting. My words hit her like a boomerang. Her eyes turned red with pain. Her face darkened. Ethan Vance, she said, her voice dangerously low, I am not the kind of woman who grovels for a man. I have no problem keeping you chained up for the rest of your life, even if you grow to hate me. Fine. I kept my mouth shut. The woman was turning into a possessive psycho. What was wrong with our current setup? It was thrilling, transgressive. The kind of soul-shaking excitement a normal, loving couple could never hope to achieve. Why was she suddenly so obsessed with playing house? Chloe stepped in. Let's focus on business. Love can wait. Money is what matters. When you're rich, you can play however you want. Victoria looked at her tough-as-nails best friend, and a thought sparked in her mind. She thought she'd found the perfect solution. Let's talk work, she said, shifting gears. The main issue right now is choosing our partners for chips and algorithms. Ethan, what are your thoughts? This time, I didn't hold back. The original Ethan's knowledge couldn't compare to theirs, and neither could mine. But I had one advantage. I was from another world. My knowledge of real-world tech trends was years ahead of theirs. For the algorithm, I suggest we partner with a company out of Austin called Deep Quest. Victoria shook her head. I looked into them. They're nobody. Their tech is. If I were you, I said confidently, I wouldn't just partner with them. I'd invest in them before they blow up. If I could, I'd trade my 3% of Beaumont Industries for a stake in their company. Done. Chloe decided instantly. Victoria, your man has secrets. Trust him on this. Victoria didn't hesitate. I'll have my people contact them immediately. I grinned. Not worried I'm going to sell you out? Chloe clapped me on the shoulder. Any man who can take my best friend's virginity is a man I can trust. Victoria rolled her eyes at her. What about the chips? Our current supplier is NVIDIA, but we can't get their latest models. I thought for a moment. Beaumont Industries targeted the high-end smart home market. The rich only want the latest and greatest. We pivot, I said. Go down market. Focus on the mid-range and low-end smart home sector. We'll flank the competition where they least expect it. The three of us finalized the plan, and Beaumont Industries began to move. Our new direction didn't go unnoticed. One day, the female lead herself, Lily, came to find me. She got straight to the point. Brother-in-law, I underestimated you. If my father knew you'd been hiding your true talents all this time, he'd regret ever choosing you for Victoria. I nodded, saying nothing. Tit for tat. I decided to drop a truth bomb of my own. And if your father knew your mother was the one who caused the stroke that left him in a coma, he'd regret ever marrying her. The truth is often cruel. The calm, composed Lily instantly shattered. Impossible. That's impossible. My mother had no reason to harm my father. The smarter a person is, the more suspicious they become. 1,000 reasons why her mother was innocent flashed through Lily's mind. I laughed coldly. Your father loved to swim in the bay, and he loved to drink. A man in his 50s, drinking and then diving into freezing cold water after a workout. Once or twice, maybe it's fine. But he did it constantly. Add in all those health supplements your mother was giving him every day. Lily, you're a genius. Think back. How was your mother acting toward your father in the weeks before his accident? You know the truth. As the book's female lead, Lily's early life was full of hardship. Her sister bullied her, her father ignored her, and her mother pushed her relentlessly to succeed. That twisted maternal love had made her strong, but she had never wanted to harm her own father. She was the heroine, after all. The author couldn't write a character without a moral compass. All Lily had ever wanted was to prove her worth to her father and sister. My mother was unhappy that Dad was giving the company to Victoria, she admitted. But would she really try to kill him? I pulled out my phone and showed her a picture. You're dating Cole, right? Lily didn't deny it. An unloved, ugly duckling, living a miserable existence. Then one day, a handsome, charming boy burst into my life. I called it salvation. I sneered. Cole interfering in my relationship with Victoria was a cheap, disgusting plot device. Maybe in the author's mind, Cole's willingness to sacrifice himself for the female lead was a noble, heroic act. I swiped to another photo. You know Richard Anderson, right? Lily looked confused. What are you trying to say? Of course I know Mr. Anderson. I shook my head. Richard isn't just your boyfriend's father. He could have been your father-in-law. But I think it's much more likely he was trying to become your stepfather. What? Lily broke. Memories from her childhood flooded her mind. The looks her mother and Richard Anderson shared. As a genius, her memory was photographic. But right now, she hated it. Looking back, her mother and Richard had been flirting, right in front of her father. Ethan, who are you? She demanded, her voice shaking. How do you know all this? Why are you helping Victoria? Did you tell her my secrets? Why does everyone love Victoria? Seeing her completely fall apart, I felt no pity. If she wanted to blame someone, she should blame the author who stuck her in this ridiculously melodramatic world. Crazy family drama was the bread and butter of these novels. Lily, let me give you some good news, I said. You're Walter Beaumont's biological daughter. But Cole is not Richard Anderson's biological son. His mother and her lover were very clever. The Anderson family did 3 DNA tests on Cole, but each time, they managed to swap the sample with his older half-brothers. So if you don't care about the messy family tree, you can still marry him. I recalled the plot. Victoria and I were written out of the story halfway through. The second half was all about the 4 of them and their twisted family drama. In the end, Lily ended up alone, the powerful, single heroine. Cole got the classic chasing after the one who got away ending. Lily looked lost. As she was leaving, she paused. Brother-in-law, Victoria doesn't deserve your love. She's more ruthless than I am. She doesn't love anyone but herself. I nodded. Lily, can you do something for me? Make sure Cole doesn't divorce Victoria just yet. I'm really enjoying her current marital status. Lily stumbled, looked at me like I was a ghost, and practically ran away. 2 months later, Victoria and Cole got divorced anyway. In her words, I can't keep humiliating myself just to cater to your disgusting fetish. But I still wouldn't marry her. Not even when she chained me to the bed every night. Not even when she got pregnant. She couldn't do anything about it, but she couldn't bear to let me go either. In the end, she talked herself into it. I guess not having a certificate doesn't really change anything, she reasoned. Fiancée, I'll be trendy. We're co-parenting. Will you cheat on me with other women? I rattle the chain on my wrist. Don't worry. I'm only interested in married women. Seeing the thundercloud forming on her face, I quickly added, and only the wives or girlfriends of men I despise. Victoria was furious. You son of a bitch. I swear, I will never marry anyone for the rest of my life. I was stunned. That's not what I wasn't telling you to marry someone else. You're carrying my child. Who else would you marry? I just meant, forget it. The only person I hate right now is Cole, and you're not with him anymore. My twisted logic, combined with her morning sickness, seemed to confuse her. She dropped the subject. In the meantime, following my advice, the company had turned itself around. We had not only weathered the storm, but had made a killing by investing in Deep Quest. Beaumont Industries' smart home products became a global brand. We were already expanding into medical tech, office solutions, and autonomous driving. My sister really is a genius, Victoria mused one day. Her company is already catching up to Deep Quest. I heard Google is offering $2 billion for a 60% stake. When you're in the right place at the right time, even a pig can fly. But I was worried. The two sisters had been focused on their own growth, not fighting each other. But Lily was still the heroine, with plot armor on her side. And with Cole, the male lead, advising her, I wasn't sure we could win in a direct confrontation. Victoria, I said carefully, you and Lily don't have to be enemies. You could bury the hatchet. When sisters fight, the only ones who win are the outsiders. I wouldn't have dared say this before, but since becoming pregnant, Victoria had started to grow sentimental. She would sometimes talk about her childhood, playing with Lily. They only became rivals when their father chose her as his successor. Her mother put my father in a vegetative state, she said coldly. If she turned her own mother in, maybe then I'd consider forgiving her. I gave a bitter laugh. And you trust a sister who is willing to do that to her own mother? Victoria fell silent. The day of the Beaumont Industries shareholder meeting arrived. There was only one item on the agenda, electing a new chairman. The doctors had confirmed Walter's diagnosis. He was in a persistent vegetative state with almost no chance of waking up. Victoria was confident. Between her own shares and her father's, she controlled 35%. I had a vote too, and with the loyal executives her father had put in place, it should have been a sure thing. The meeting had barely started when a group of police officers entered the boardroom. Ms. Beaumont, your CFO, Sarah Simmons, is suspected of embezzlement. We need her to come with us for questioning. Ms. Beaumont, your head of HR, Mark Weber, is being investigated for workplace coercion. He needs to come with us. Ms. Beaumont, we've received a tip that your head of market development, Robert Zhao, has been accepting bribes. Please ask him to accompany us. The storm wasn't over. As soon as they left, another group arrived. A vice president from the Anderson Corporation walked up to Chloe and presented her with a document. Ms. Anderson, the board has revoked your position as shareholder representative for Beaumont Industries. I will be taking your place. If you'll please leave. Chloe stood up, ready to curse him out, but Victoria stopped her, telling her to go quietly. The two corporations held a 5% stake in each other. Clearly, this VP wasn't on their side. The situation was getting worse by the second. Dana rushed in with a tablet. Ms. Beaumont, the story about you and Cole Anderson just hit the news. They have video of you two arguing at City Hall. Victoria waved her hand dismissively. She'd deal with that later. Then, another woman walked into the boardroom. Miranda Beaumont. As a family member, she held 10% of the company's stock. Walter had always voted her shares by proxy, but today she was here with an agenda. She sat down across from Victoria. Victoria, you've run this company into the ground. Your top executives are being arrested as we speak. To save Beaumont Industries, I suggest you resign your position immediately. As soon as she finished, several other shareholders voiced their support. Ms. Beaumont is just too young. Our 4 subsidiary companies are all tanking because of this scandal with the Anderson heir. I support Miranda for chairman. She and Walter were a devoted couple, and she has over 20 years of experience with the company. I agree. The new CEO has had some success, but she lacks management experience. Victoria tapped the table. In that case, I see no reason to delay. Let's vote. Miranda sneered. You really are naive, Victoria. You're only the acting chairwoman. You don't have veto power. You're going to lose today. She turned her gaze to me. Ethan, I'm giving you one last chance. A woman who would cheat on you is not worth your loyalty. I couldn't have agreed more. You're absolutely right, Miranda. But as it turns out, I have a thing for married women now. Miranda snorted, still cracking jokes when your world is falling apart. Let's vote. Just then, a crisp female voice cut through the tension from the doorway. Wait. The doors opened, and to everyone's surprise, Lily walked in. Walter had given her 5% of the company's stock when she turned 18, but she'd never once set foot in the building. Her shares had always been voted by the chairman. She surveyed the room, then sat down next to me. I support my sister, Victoria Beaumont. Lily, Miranda shrieked. I'm your mother. Everything I've done for you. How could you? Lily's face was a mask of ice. A woman who would cheat on her family is even less worthy. Mom, did you really think we didn't know about you and Richard Anderson at that hotel? Did you do all this for me? Or did you do it for the man you've been obsessed with your entire life? Mom, Beaumont Industries will have the name Beaumont, not Anderson. You. Miranda was shaking with rage, her fingers spasming. She knew it was over. Her life's work, all for nothing, to be brought down by her own daughter. She never finished. Her eyes rolled back in her head, and she collapsed. The board meeting was over. The Beaumont sisters had won. They looked at each other, and in front of all the shareholders, they embraced a silent declaration of their unbreakable bond. It reminded me of Victoria's birthday a few weeks ago. Only Chloe showed up carrying a cake. It was too cold to go out, so we decided to grill steaks at home. Lily showed up uninvited, her arms full of gifts for the baby. It was the first time the sisters had sat down together since everything came out. With their father effectively gone, Victoria had lost her thirst for revenge. And Lily, being the heroine, had a core of kindness. She couldn't blame her sister for all the injustices of her childhood. Plus, with Cole and his father circling Beaumont Industries like sharks, they were forced to find common ground. The mood at the dinner table was tense. Victoria picked at a salad. Lily stared into a glass of juice. Only Chloe was tearing into her food with gusto. Here, Lily, have some more steak. You've gotten too thin, I said, playing the part of the gracious host, using the serving tongs to put a piece on her plate. Lily accepted it, but her words could cut glass. You don't have to suck up to me, brother-in-law. Cole and I broke up. Puffed. Victoria and Chloe, in perfect sync, sprayed mouthfuls of wine and soda all over my face. On purpose. I forced a smile. Well, good for you. The next one will be better. Lily cocked her head, a mischievous glint in her eye. Shouldn't you say the next one will be more fun? I froze. I was trying to be nice, and she twisted my words to make it sound like I was already plotting to get with Cole's next girlfriend. She was more vicious than I was. For once, I was the innocent party. But Victoria clearly didn't believe me. She snapped her fingers, and her 2 female bodyguards instantly appeared behind me. For the next year, until after I've had the baby and recovered, wherever the master of the house goes, you 2 go with him. Provide close protection. My face darkened. That's going too far. Lily raised her fork. I support my sister. Chloe brandished a lobster claw. I support her too. Victoria slammed her fist on the table. 3-1. Motion passed. I took out my frustration on a lobster tail. You don't have to be so paranoid. No matter how much of a bastard I am, I wouldn't go after another married woman while you're pregnant. There it is again. Victoria clutched her head. Are you ever going to get over that stupid kink? You brought this on yourself, Chloe chimed in, surprisingly on my side. You're the one who opened Pandora's box. Don't complain when you can't get the demons back inside. Victoria glared at Chloe and Lily. You 2 are just as much to blame for this. After dinner, Chloe's curiosity got the better of her. Lily, why did you and Cole break up? Did you ever get that weird feeling of being controlled by him? Lily shook her head, her expression grim. My mother slept with his father. Is that reason enough? Chloe made a face. I honestly don't know what she sees in my old man. All that blubber? His fat fingers? It can't possibly be because he's good with his tongue, can it? Victoria rolled her eyes and threw an orange at her. Lily, who didn't know Chloe well enough to understand her blunt, masculine sense of humor, blushed furiously. I've been digging, she said, changing the subject, but I can't find any record of who Cole's biological father is. I even, I even compared his DNA to Dad's. Chloe had been investigating too, but she had to be careful. Her father didn't know she was a double agent. You know, don't you dog? She said, turning to me. Spill it before I beat it out of you. I try to remember the book. I think Cole's mother confessed on her deathbed. Just use your imagination. It's a rich family drama. Normal rules don't apply. Chloe spit out an orange slice, her eyes lighting up. My uncle? A classic Cain and Abel story, she guessed. My other uncle? My aunt's husband? It couldn't be our old butler, could it? No. What about my dad's driver? His assistant? His bodyguard? She was getting frantic. She jumped on me, grabbing my ear. Tell me. I held up my hands. You already said it. Chloe froze. When? Victoria and Lily, as observers, put it together first. They both gasped. The man in question was a pillar of the community, known for his integrity and lifelong devotion to his one true love. Chloe saw the look on their faces, and it dawned on her. Holy crap. Like grandfather, like grandson, I guess. Another 3 months passed. The San Francisco business world was in turmoil. The united front of Victoria, Lily, and the traitorous Chloe was slowly gaining the upper hand against the Anderson Corporation. One day, while I was out, Cole managed to get into the building. He found them in Victoria's office. Victoria, Chloe, I have nowhere else to go. Please, you have to help me. My father, he's trying to kill me. The moment they saw him, the two women went on high alert. But before they could call for security, that strange, mind-numbing feeling of being controlled washed over them again. Suddenly, Victoria felt a kick from inside her belly. The baby was acting up. The sharp sensation snapped her back to reality. Cole, how did you get up here? Get out, right now, or I'll have security throw you out the window. Victoria. Chloe stopped her. He's been through enough. His mother is dead. You and Lily won't talk to him, and his own family is hunting him down. Maybe we should hide him at the... Seeing Chloe spiraling into crazy talk, Victoria frantically dug through her purse, pulled something out, and stuffed it in her friend's mouth. The effect was instantaneous. Chloe's eyes cleared, and the male lead's charm was broken. Security! Get security up here. Get him out. A team of guards burst in and dragged Cole away without a word. A moment later, Dana came in, her face a mixture of fear and guilt. Ms. Beaumont, Victoria waved her off. It's fine. You can go. I don't blame you. Once the door was closed, Chloe pulled the object out of her mouth and looked at it. Her face contorted in disgust. Victoria, did you really just shove your husband's underwear in my mouth? Are you sick? Tui. Victoria just smirked. Did it work or not? I told you, my man is the only one who can counter Cole. And apparently, my baby can too. Huh, I'm not afraid of him anymore. Chloe was stunned. So what am I supposed to do? Get pregnant. She shuddered. No way. I'm a lone wolf. Kids are out of the question. Victoria pointed to the discarded piece of clothing. Use that. Carry it with you every day. I'll give you a fresh one in a couple of days. It works like a charm. Chloe looked disgusted, or she suggested we could just have someone take care of him. Permanently. Victoria shook her head. Ethan said Cole is the male lead of the story. He has plot armor. The only one who can truly defeat him is Lily. But Lily, she sighed. Whatever. He can't have much time left. At the mention of my name, Chloe's smirk returned. You're 5 months along now. You know you can. Has he made any moves? No, Victoria Lementif. Not a single one. I've sent him to 5 different therapists. Chloe clicked her tongue. He's not going to make you marry Cole again. Is he? If he even suggests it, I'll kill him myself. I have an idea, Victoria said, looking at her friend with a strange gleam in her eye. A way to solve this problem for good. The Beaumont estate. The bedroom. What is this? Open it and see. It's all in English. Let me just translate. This is... What the hell are you two doing? Oomph. It's for you, isn't it? Are you feeling it? Is it exciting enough for you? Exciting doesn't even cover it. I love it. You are so twisted. Well, what are you waiting for? But you're... Just be gentle. The night grew dark, but their story was far from over. Epilogue. Cole's perspective. My name is Cole Anderson. The moment Victoria Beaumont threw me out her office, I woke up. I realized I was the male lead in a trashy romance novel, and I was the illegitimate son of the late Anderson patriarch. No wonder Richard wanted me dead. Looking back at the past few months, everything was completely different from the original plot. It was all Ethan's fault. He must have woken up too, just earlier than I did. Ethan Vance, you will pay for this. But getting revenge was harder than I thought. I went to Lily and told her everything. She didn't believe me. All she cared about was the baby in Victoria's womb. A computer genius, obsessed with infant feeding schedules instead of code. Had Ethan somehow siphoned off all my male lead charm? Since Lily was a lost cause, I tried to approach Victoria, but she was completely immune to my influence. I couldn't even get a word out before her bodyguards threw me out on the street. Next, I tried Chloe. Technically, I was her uncle. To defeat Ethan, I was willing to do anything. But the moment she saw me, she pulled out a wad of fabric and stuffed it in her mouth. Her eyes went clear. My powers had no effect. It was bizarre. I had no choice but to use my natural assets and find some wealthy patrons. Unfortunately, there weren't many beautiful, young, and rich women like Victoria in San Francisco. The only ones I could find were in their 40s and 50s. Sigh, so be it. If a great general could suffer the humiliation of crawling between another man's legs, I could suffer the humiliation of the bedroom. Soon, I had money again, but it wasn't enough. At a gala, I ran into Ethan and Victoria. She was pregnant again. 1 year, was that his plan? I was filled with a helpless rage. I'd heard rumors that Ethan was only attracted to married women, especially women who had been with me. Victoria must have forced him into it again. I even suspected Lily, using her status as my ex-girlfriend, had secretly slept with him too. Ethan, you bastard. They both should have been mine. I deliberately steered my girlfriend, who is 18 years my senior, toward him. Ethan, this is my wife, Michelle. Michelle, this is my dear friend, Ethan. We're very close. Ethan's eyes lit up, but he didn't take the hand my girlfriend offered. Instead, he smiled at me. Does your wife have diabetes? Because you've developed a real sweet tooth lately. The humiliation. How did he know about the things I'd had to do? I didn't dare lose my temper. Victoria was looking at me as if I were already dead. Sure enough, shortly after the party, a group of thugs found me. They beat me senseless. My manhood was permanently damaged. My charm was gone. My patrons threw some money at me and cut me loose. I hated them all. After a long time, I made a decision. I took the money and went to Bangkok, then to Seoul. 3 years later, I returned, a new person with a new face and a new identity. I got a job at Beaumont Industries. Ethan Vance, I thought as I walked through the lobby. Our story is just beginning.